Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Chat, the podcast where learning English is easy and fun. I'm Sophia.
Hi, Sophia. Hello, everyone. It is so wonderful to be here today with all of you. I am very happy to talk with you again, Sophia.
I am happy too, Jason. How are you doing today? You look very focused today.
Yes, I have my tea here. I am feeling good. Actually, Sophia, something interesting happened to me this week that I wanted to share.
Oh, really? What happened?
Well, I was watching a movie in English without subtitles. I have been trying to challenge myself. And about halfway through, I realized something. I was understanding maybe 70% of what they were saying, but I felt so frustrated about the 30% I was missing.
Oh, Jason, I understand that feeling so much. That is actually a very common experience for English learners. You are doing better than you think.
Really? Because I felt like I was failing. I kept thinking, why can I not understand everything? I have been studying English for years.
I know. That feeling is so frustrating. But you know what? Understanding 70% is actually really good. And the fact that you noticed your progress shows you were paying attention.
I never thought about it that way. I was so focused on what I did not understand that I forgot to appreciate what I did understand.
Exactly. And I am so glad you brought this up because that is actually our topics for today. We are talking about how to improve your English listening skills and why listening practice is so important.
That is perfect timing. I think many people struggle with listening, right? It is one of the hardest skills to develop when you are learning English.
It really is. And listening is so important because it's how we communicate in real life. When you talk to people, watch movies, listen to podcasts like this one, you need good listening skills.
Right. Reading and writing are important, but listening happens in real time. You cannot pause a real conversation and look up words in a dictionary.
Exactly. And before we talk more about this today, we have a small request for our wonderful listeners.
Oh, yes, everyone, if you enjoy our conversations and find them helpful, please click that like button. It is just one small click for you, but it helps us so much.
And please subscribe to English Chat, the podcast. We upload new episodes every day to help you improve your English listening. When you subscribe, you will not miss any of our daily conversations.
And please share this episode with your friends. If you know someone who wants to improve their English listening skills, send this to them. Let's help everyone learn together.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, Jason, so you were watching a movie and feeling frustrated. What made you realize you were actually doing well?
Well, after the movie ended, I thought about it more. I realized I understood the whole story. I knew what happened, who the characters were, what the problem was. I got all the important information.
That is wonderful. So even though you missed some words or phrases, you still understood the meaning. That is actually the most important thing.
Really? So I do not need to understand every single word?
No, you do not. And here's the thing. Even native speakers do not catch every single word all the time. Sometimes people mumble, sometimes there's background noise, sometimes people speak with accents we are not used to.
That is so interesting. I always thought native speakers understood everything perfectly.
No, not at all. I miss words all the time. Just yesterday, I was in a noisy restaurant and I had to ask my friend to repeat something 3 times.
That made me laugh. So even you need repetition sometimes.
All the time. And you know what's funny? Sometimes I pretend I understood just to avoid asking again, and then I have to guess what they said from context.
I do that too. I feel embarrassed asking people to repeat things over and over.
I know, but it's okay to ask. People understand, and asking for repetition is actually a sign that you care about understanding correctly.
That is a good way to think about it. So improving listening skills isn't about understanding every word. It's about understanding the meaning and the main message.
Exactly. It is like building a puzzle. You do not need every single piece to see the picture. If you have most of the pieces, you can figure out what the image is.
I love that comparison. Listening is like building a puzzle. Even with some missing pieces, you can still see the whole picture.
Yes, and the more you practice listening, the more pieces you collect. Your vocabulary grows, your ear gets better at recognizing sounds, and understanding becomes easier.
So practice is the key. But how should people practice listening? Should they just watch movies like I did?
Movies are great, but they can be challenging because they often use fast speech, slang, and cultural references. I think it is good to start with materials made for learners, like this podcast.
Right, because we speak clearly and not too fast, and we use everyday vocabulary that is useful in real life.
Exactly. And here's another tip. Listen to the same material multiple times. The first time, you catch the main ideas. The second time, you notice more details. The third time, you hear even more.
Oh, I never thought about listening to the same thing multiple times. I always thought that was boring or a waste of time.
It is not boring at all. It's smart. Your brain needs repetition to learn. It's like when you learn a song. The first time you hear it, you catch the chorus. But after hearing it 10 times, you know all the words.
That is so true. I know all the words to my favorite songs because I listened to them over and over.
Exactly. And listening to English works the same way. Repetition builds familiarity, and familiarity builds understanding.
So listeners should not feel bad about replaying episodes or rewatching movies. It's actually helping them learn.
Absolutely. And another important thing is to choose materials that interest you. If you're bored, you won't pay attention. But if you're interested, listening becomes fun instead of work.
That makes sense. So if someone loves cooking, they should watch cooking shows in English. If someone loves sports, they should listen to sports podcasts.
Yes, exactly. Learning should be enjoyable. When you enjoy what you're listening to, you forget that you're studying. You're just having a good time.
I really like that approach. It makes learning feel less like a chore and more like entertainment.
Exactly. And you know what else helps? Listening actively, not passively. That means really focusing on what you hear, not just having English on in the background.
What is the difference between active and passive listening?
Active listening means you're fully present. You're trying to understand. You're paying attention to pronunciation. You're noticing new words. Passive listening is when English is just background noise while you do other things.
So, if I'm listening to a podcast while washing dishes and not really paying attention, that's passive listening?
Exactly. Passive listening has some benefits. It helps your ear get used to English sounds, but active listening is where real learning happens.
So, I should set aside time to really focus on listening practice, not just multitask.
Yes, even just 15 or 20 minutes a day of focused listening makes a huge difference over time.
15 or 20 minutes, that feels manageable. I can definitely do that.
You can, and consistency is more important than length. 15 minutes every day is better than 2 hours once a week.
That's like exercise. Small amounts regularly are better than one big session occasionally.
Perfect comparison. Your listening skills are like a muscle. They get stronger with regular practice.
I'm feeling much more motivated now. You know, Sophia, I think we have talked about many helpful ideas today. Maybe we should remember the main points from our conversation.
Oh, yes, let's do that. It was such a useful discussion. First, we talked about how you do not need to understand every single word to understand the meaning. Even native speakers miss words sometimes.
Right, and we used the puzzle metaphor. Listening is like building a puzzle. You don't need every piece to see the picture. If you have most of the pieces, you can understand the message.
Exactly. And we talked about how repetition is your friend, not your enemy. Listening to the same material multiple times helps your brain learn. It is like learning a song.
And you taught me the difference between active listening and passive listening. Active listening is when you really focus and pay attention. That is where real learning happens.
Yes. And we discussed choosing materials that interest you. When you enjoy what you are listening to, learning becomes fun instead of work.
And finally, we talked about consistency. 15 or 20 minutes of focused listening every day is better than longer sessions less often. Small amounts regularly build the skill.
Perfect summary, Jason. I think our listeners have so many practical tips now. They can feel more confident about improving their listening skills.
I feel more confident too. I am going to keep watching movies, but I am also going to be kinder to myself when I do not understand everything.
That is wonderful. And to everyone listening, please remember, improving your listening takes time. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate the progress you are making, even if it feels small.
That is such an important message. Progress is progress no matter how small.
Exactly. Now, before we say goodbye, please do not forget to like and subscribe to English Chat, the podcast, for more conversations like this one. We upload new episodes every day to help you practice your listening skills.
Yes, please subscribe. We have a new episode every day on different interesting topics. And we have a question for you for the comments section. We would love to hear from you. Tell us, what do you listen to for English practice? Movies, podcasts, music? And what is the hardest part about listening for you?
Yes, we love reading your comments and learning about your listening practice. Your experiences help other listeners feel less alone in their challenges.
We really appreciate every single comment and every person who listens to our podcast every day.
Well, that is all for today, everyone. Thank you so much for listening and spending this time with us. We hope this episode helps you feel more confident about your listening practice.
Yes, remember, you do not need to be perfect. You just need to keep practicing, stay curious, and be patient with yourself. You are doing great.
We believe in you. Keep listening, keep learning, and keep enjoying the journey.
See you tomorrow with a new topic, everyone. Keep up the wonderful work.
Bye-bye, everyone. See you in tomorrow's episode.
Goodbye.